The Oath Keepers are in a little bit of trouble, financially speaking. They're strapped for cash, and they have lost quite a few of their donors ever since the Capitol riots took place, and several of them got arrested and are now facing federal charges. Now, there have been some investigations, looking into the Oath Keepers as a result of the Capitol riots, and these far-right groups apparently are going broke. So, as Yahoo News reports, PayPal booted the Oath Keepers founder, Stuart Rhodes, and he said even though this group wasn't there and he had to ask members to send their dues by mail. Now, Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio said PayPal, Stripe, and other credit card processors, including several used by porn sites and gun makers, also banned him. So, I mean, but of course, I mean, all of these platforms certainly don't want to do business with a group of people who are committing potential crimes. I totally understand that. Now, Enrique Tarrio also says, we've been bleeding money since January, like hemorrhaging money, barely making enough to cover rent. He also came up with a new plan, fake it till you make it, right? So Tarrio said that he set up a secretive e-commerce site to sell merchandise with liberal slogans like Black Lives Matter and Impeach 45, but wouldn't give out its name.
No, but how is that not the funniest thing? Except for the next thing you're gonna hear. Okay, the Oath Keepers guys is even more hilarious. But he's like, okay, I realized what's really popular is that people really hate Donald Trump. And since so many more people hate Donald Trump, I can make money off of them to support the very few of us who want to support Trump. And guys, I want to be super clear about this. Whether it's Oath Keepers or Proud Boys, the thing of taking them off of PayPal and Stripe and stuff, that is a very severe sanction and should not be done based on their ideology at all, okay? The only reason it should be done is if they are worried that they are promoting violence.
Or engaging in illegal activity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with those two groups, there appears to be, and that is up to PayPal, Stripe, and the rest of them, but on the surface, there appears to be plenty of evidence that they have promoted violence, and so that's why the action's happening, not because they don't agree with them.
So the e-commerce sites that they used to run had lost about 80% of their revenue, or their business dropped by 80%, I should say. And apparently the founder of the Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes, said in April that the group has less than $10,000 in their account. So they're struggling, they're strapped for cash. Multiple board members have accused Rhodes of using Oath Keepers' money to put down a deposit on a house in Montana and pay for liquor, guns, steaks, and items from the adult store Alley Cats with a Z at the end. It's so good. 90s and naughties.
Oh, I don't know if you got the 90 or the naughty or both.
It's so good.
Alley Cats.
No, but like you guys, grifters are gonna grift. You have to be super vigilant about these things. Don't get fooled into thinking that these are individuals who are gonna like take your money and like take back America. No, they're gonna go to Alley Cats and they're gonna buy naughties or 90s, whatever. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. You're gonna buy steaks. The guy's buying steaks. Rose's lawyer did not dispute that he spent the money on these items. Ed Wilson managed IT for the Oath Keepers in 2015 and told the Journal that Rhodes used the bank account as a piggy bank. So, gee, I wonder why people stopped donating to you guys. Weird.
Yeah. By the way, he doesn't deny that he spent the money on those things.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, that's the funny thing about the right wing. They're like, oh yeah, we're bad guys, so what? Yeah, you give me money, you're an idiot. I'm gonna go be naughty and 90 with it. Okay, where my alley cats at? He denies other parts of it, but he doesn't deny that part.
Yeah.
So no, but I disagree with Anna. If you're an insane right winger who's potentially thinking of doing violence, yeah, sure, send money to that guy. He'll waste it on naughties and steak. You see what I'm saying? He's got a nice house in Montana now, thanks to you idiots. But luckily, he didn't use it to create more violence. I mean,
right.
They promoted it, and by the way, several dozen of Oath Keepers and Proud Boys were arrested in the Capitol riot, and hence the what we're concerned about with violence, right?
Well, there are certain, purchases that could lead to violence. So let's get to that, because there's been some infighting among the Oath Keepers, among the right wing, as a result of some of this spending. So the former Oath Keepers Secretary Bill Simmons said the last straw came for him in 2020 when he learned that Rhodes maxed out his Oath Keepers credit card 3 days in a row so he could go around his $350 daily spending limit to buy a $1,000 AR-10 rifle. I mean, can I just say a $350 a day spending limit is insane. That is a lot of money, but it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. He needed to spend $1,000 on an AR-10 rifle.
Yeah, because to protect against the tyranny, with your money, So, look, I don't shed a tear for the people who donated to these folks and having their money wasted. I think the PayPal Stripe thing is something you have to be a little bit vigilant about. I don't want that to slip. And I don't want it to get to a point where it's not about violence or illegal acts, and PayPal goes, I don't like what you're saying, I'm gonna cut you off. That would be problematic. It doesn't matter if I agree or disagree with their political opinions, right? But in this case, these groups have demonstrated some violence, and hence the cause for concern. But Tario, look, it is super hard when he's asking people to send in checks. And so he's just basically saying we're pretty much done, right?
Right.
And in Canada, they changed their name.
Rebranding. Just like
right.
private prisons.
Yeah, apparently not that proud.
Defense contractors.
Remember Gavin McInnes, who started it, and then he abandoned them when he couldn't get into his country club anymore because of them?
Yes.
And they said, oh yeah, no, Proud Boys, what name so? And then when it didn't work and he couldn't get back into his country club anyway, he came back and said, oh yeah, no, I'm proud. I'm not a. So these guys are all scammers, right?
Of course, yeah. Look, I'm glad that they're broke. I'm glad that they're disbanding. It seems like they're disbanding. But yeah, look, the main takeaway, and something that became, I think, pretty brutally honest for right-wing voters, is that whether you're talking about these right-wing militias or literally Republican politicians, they're looking to scam you. I mean, Trump did it incessantly, even after he lost the election, making his supporters think that the donations coming in were gonna be spent on his court battles to overturn the 2020 election. He used the vast majority of that to fund his PAC. And I don't know, I feel like he's probably going to do illegal things with that money and find a way to funnel it to himself personally.
Oh no, well we already know. So they haven't yet proved that it's illegal, so just keep it real on that. Holding Trump accountable has been apparently the hardest thing in the world. But yes, no, he has funneled giant amounts of money to his properties because he says, oh, my campaign was using them a lot and had to pay them tons and tons of money because of all the space we needed for our couple of guys, right? So he's already funneled that money, tons of it, to himself.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he wrote in there, hey, sucker, the first $5,000 of what you're giving me, I could use for any purpose when it got to the so-called legal defense fund, right? So you can just pocket it, right? And the first 5,000,
It's amazing.
Okay, so I think all these groups have realized, oh, Trump's right. Right-wingers will fall for anything. Remember Duncan Hunter Jr., he used campaign funds and for his mistresses, and he said, oh, we'll pretend we're helping veterans, and then he used it for golf outings instead. His pet bunny rabbit, he paid for a flight across the country to, all with right-wingers donations.
Animals are innocent, though.
A fool and his money are easily parted, especially if they're right-wing. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.